Hey guys, now today's video is going to be slightly different to my usual style, as it's a Saturday night, nearly 11 o'clock at night actually. I've had a long day today, just poured myself a nice cold beer, it's going down very nicely, and I thought I'd sit down and play a brand new Amiga game, which, you know, in 2016 that is a bit of a novelty in itself. I say Amiga game, this game is called Amiga Racer. It's not actually out on the Amiga just yet, but it is available for next-gen Amiga-inspired platforms like MorphOS and OS4, and also you can download it for Windows, Linux, Raspberry MC, you know, for the Raspberry Pi, and there is an OS 10 version due in the next day or two as well. Now, this game is really for people who grew up with the 2D racing games, stuff like Lotus Turbo Challenge and Outrun, that were, you know, two of my favourites back when I was a kid. And this is coded by a guy called Mike Neitzel. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong there. Mike, though, he's got quite a long history of making video games, including, I only found this out today when I was chatting to Mike on Messenger, he was behind a couple of my favourite games on the Commodore Plus 4 and Commodore 16, winter events and summer events with Udo Gertz, which I did cover in my recent Commodore 16 video if you're interested. So the game's called Amiga Racer. You can download it and try out the beta for free, and if you make a donation you get some extra features unlocked. For example, this little construction kit here called ARCS. Now, if you ever played Lotus Turbo Challenge 3 on the Amiga back in the early 90s, this interface here will look very familiar. It's heavily based on Lotus 3. Even the ARCS construction kit, do you remember in Lotus it was I think it was Rex it was called in that? So it really lets you make your own tracks and configure all of these specifications and the settings and that kind of thing. So we'll have a quick look around the options that you've got when you boot the game up. I have been playing with the MorphOS version quite extensively this evening actually. We're looking at the Windows version here just because it's a bit easier to record on my screen capture software, but all versions are identical, so give it a download and a try definitely. So we'll click on Live Update first of all. That will, you know, obviously it's a 2016 game. It'll connect to the internet and download all the latest updates and everything. And then there is something here called Amiga Tech Cloud. Now, Amiga Tech is the name of the company behind it. That's Mike's company. Although, I will say, he says a lot of people assume that he's like a 10-man team. It is just Mike working on this game on his own, so it's a one-man effort. And for that, you know, very commendable, the quality of this product. So, I haven't tried this out yet, but by the looks of it, it looks like some kind of online multiplayer mode. As, you know, when I played Lotus 2 when I was a kid, you couldn't beat having your friend come over, sitting on the couch together with a joystick, and being able to play a 2D racer online is pretty cool, I've got to say. And hopefully the different platforms will all be able to interconnect somehow. Input settings, that's not implemented yet, so I'm having to play this using the keyboard, which I will be honest, is not my favourite way of playing racing games. I'm kind of just excusing how bad I'm going to be in advance here, but hopefully he will set that up to allow, you know, USB controllers and all that sort of thing. You know, it's pretty simple, I'd imagine. And then you can select your car down here too. Now, there is actually quite a lot of cars in this beta version. It's got to be the DeLorean, hasn't it? So we'll start with that one. And then you get two different tracks here that you can play from the main menu. Florida, USA, a sunny level, or Bavaria in Germany, which you know, is a winter one as well. So we'll start with the summer one, click on play game, and then like in Lotus 3 you get this music selection for your car radio and a few nice funky tracks included. Mike was actually telling me that they've released the Amiga Racer theme tune separately as an MP3 download, and apparently it's doing really well on like the iTunes charts, so there you go, first Amiga song in the charts. Now we're in the game now, and as you can see, you know, it's a 2D racer with some quite funky looking graphics, you know. It reminds me a lot of Lotus, but obviously we're playing this in high definition, and it's got some quite satisfying sound effects as well when the gears change. It's quite clunky. Now, I did try out an early beta of this, probably about 6 months ago, and I was quite impressed with that very early version of it. The only complaint I had back then was that the car handling didn't feel all that good. It kind of felt a bit like you were driving on ice. I've got to say though, 6 months down the line, he has massively improved that, and it's so responsive and simple to control. Your car just moves wherever you want it to, so props to you, Mike. You've done a lot of work there. You know, it really plays very well now, I've got to say. And as you can see, you know, it is very similar to the kind of Outlook time attack mode, so you have to aim for the checkpoint. I love this bit here. The way the crowd are just standing there at the finish line. I was going about 100 miles an hour there. Probably not the wisest place to stand, if I'm honest. So we'll try the other level here. Now, he brought this one out just before Christmas, so it's got a bit of a Christmas theme tune going on. Looks very festive. Got the Jingle Bell Rock playing. Now you might notice that the laps are quite short. We've got 7 seconds here to make it to the checkpoint. This is one thing I said to Mike when I was chatting to him. I remember when he used to play Lotus, he'd always get like a full lap, or it'd be like 2 minutes until you hit the checkpoints. And I kind of felt like these were a bit too close together. And he agreed with me, and he said that is going to be they're going to be spaced out a bit more randomly in future versions of the game. But you have to remember this is an early beta, so you know you're looking at an incomplete project. It's really very much a work in progress. But I've got to say, for less than a year's work. Yeah, if you don't make it, you get the game over the screen straight away. It is very good quality though. Now we'll have a quick look at the construction kit here. I'll change a car as well actually. What should we have? There's quite a lot of cars to pick from actually. We'll have an old school BMW. Now in here, you can change your level. We'll try, there's a few more actually you can select from here. A few more scenarios they call them. So there's one in London actually that's pretty good, that one. I quite like steep hills as well, so we'll put that up to 95. Sharpness of the corners a bit more. Have a few more hills in there too. So you select your parameters of how you want the track to be. Click on build a track. You can even save it and it will upload to their cloud server so other people can play it, and then start the game. And it's really the track that you designed, which is pretty cool. Now this one's set in London, so we've got the rain and still the Christmas characters there. Thunder and lightning effects as well. I've got to say, I live in England. It's not always raining, despite the common conception. Most of the time, though. I love that, checkpoint sound effect as well. It's very much like Lotus 2. Oh, come on, I'm not going to qualify here. Finish line. Boom. And Mike was actually showing me some pictures of an arcade machine that's been designed with this game included too. And they've actually built a little, half arcade cabinet around it, which I think is really cool. Anything that kind of throws back to these, golden age of gaming and updates it is good in my book. So yeah, I'd recommend you give this a download. It is completely free if you want to download it and try it out on all the platforms I mentioned before. If you do make a donation, you get access to stuff like the construction ARCS kit in there too. So I'll include the website in the video description, and that has been a look at Amiga Racer. Thank you for watching.